All right, guys, it is New Year's Eve, and I'm not really a partier, so I'm out here in the garage. It's been several months now since I've done any sort of videos or updates or really even worked on any of my cars, and kind of needed a break. Life's been busy, whatever. But I want to get back on this T-Bucket. This thing has just been sitting here for months and months now, and I want to get it so I can drive the thing. Actually, the body I just put back on here probably about an hour ago. It's been sitting on top of the old Chevelle here for the last 3-4 months, or probably longer than that if I really think about it. And my plan was, before I put it back on there, I wanted to run all the brake lines and get all that done, but just haven't really been that excited to do it. So I decided just to put the body back on. I'll pull it back. I got to pull it back off anyways, so I'll do the brake lines later. But what did show up in the mail was a big old box from Lokar, a bunch of stuff I ordered from them, and let me show you what I got. And that's what I'm going to be installing, is more of getting the steering wheel going, and the brake and the gas pedal and the shifter, all that stuff. That's what I'm going to focus on right now. And the other thing is, I was trying to break up all my videos to like one segment. So like, here's me doing the interior, here's me doing this, here's me doing that. Right now I've just kind of got to bounce all over the place. So the videos are going to be a little weird, the next few videos at least, because I'm going to be installing this Lokar stuff, which I'm excited to do. And then I got to force myself to do some of the things I'm not so excited to do. So I'm just going to kind of bounce back and forth between these projects to get through them and make this final push. So here we go. We set up the old camera here. All right. I guess you can see me. So here's what I got from Lokar. Like I said, a bunch of different stuff. I've always used Lokar stuff. Pretty much anything I've ever done, and it's always been the best stuff. It usually bolts right in, works perfectly. There's always good instructions. Everything's there. Obviously, this one's going to be not quite a bolt-in deal because it's a little more custom. But first up is one of their Lakester gas pedals. And this is just like a universal throttle. But you got to pull this apart, and then you can adjust the arm up, and then that's it. So just a really small, compact, hot rod style gas pedal, which I need because there is no room for a bigger foot pedal in this car. Like, it's going to be insanely tight as is. So I kind of wanted to get this figured out, and it looks like it just uses 2 little bolts to mount. It's got all these cool little holes, makes it a little hot rodish, but obviously that top one's for the actual throttle cable, which is, man, I got the hiccups. I just ate dinner. This guy here. So I got a throttle cable, and I'll show you here in a minute the engine, because I kind of changed it up a little bit too. So, but here's the throttle cable, so that'll make that work. I got this is a transmission dipstick for the 4L60E. So super nice piece. It's all like the AN style. Has a little filler tube that actually, like, so when you pull this guy out, that's already the correct length because it's for a 4L60 transmission, but that goes in there so you can put your funnel inside that instead of trying to go in this tiny little hole. So it just pops in there. So this guy I can put in the transmission, which is good because I keep losing fluid out of that hole. And I mean, it really just pops in, and like, you mount it on the firewall and you're done. It's super simple. So this I might not mount on the firewall right this second, just because I got to pull the body back off, so I don't want to have to redo that. So that one's really easy. This is the engine dipstick. Let's see if I can get this thing out. Again, all their stuff too, like, always has really good instructions with pictures and diagrams and everything. Check that out. So same basic deal. Nice little engine dipstick. So this will It's got a little mount here that will probably go to one of the exhaust manifold bolts. So I'm assuming this is the correct depth also, but if not, excuse me, you can pull this off and adjust it and shorten it up if you need to, so no big deal there. So that kind of handles stuff on the engine side. And the other thing that I picked up from them, and again, I've used one of these before and it worked so incredibly well, is one of their shifters. Now they have about 1 million different options for shifters, you know, different heights and bends and knobs and mounts. Like some mount to the transmission, some mount to the floor, all sorts of different stuff. But this is probably one of their most basic ones, really. But it's just mounts on the transmission hump and has a rod, this guy here, a piece of all thread that goes down to the transmission to click it into gear. This one, I don't know if you can see it, but it just has a button here in the middle that you push, and then you can click it into gear, whichever gear. It does lock out, so you can't accidentally go into reverse. And it actually, speaking of reverse, it actually has the reverse switch here already mounted up and everything, so it makes wiring in reverse lights really easy. But I don't have any on this car, but maybe I will, I don't know. So anyways, so that's oh yeah, and this too, I ordered up a shift boot, so that'll look, kind of finish off this guy once I get it all mounted up and everything. So just a basic shift boot with the ring on there, stainless steel, polished, whatever. Let me turn the camera around really quick. I want to show you the engine that I kind of changed it up from probably when I showed you last. I don't know if I ever showed the old intake I had on here, but it was a sheet metal one. It was a Holley Sniper intake. It was a lot lower, and it was actually really bitchin' looking, and I really wanted to run it, but I ran into an issue where, because it's lower, the throttle body is lower, and it was hitting this outlet, water pump outlet. Now I know I could have done a different water pump, but I already had this one. I didn't feel like spending money on a completely different water pump just so that. Plus the other thing is I didn't have injectors for that setup, so I had to buy a whole new set of injectors. So it's like, you know, several $100s more just to run that. And I just said, you know what, let's just run this truck intake. It actually makes better power on the bottom end anyways. Just doesn't look quite as cool. I know there's guys that like will take this and shave all these plastic things and then like Bondo it and smooth it, which I might do. I also found a guy on eBay that just makes a nice little sheet metal cover, goes over it. I actually was just sitting in there a few minutes ago because I was like wondering if it's going to be weird driving with it super tall, and it really doesn't. You're not going to notice it. So I still need to buy a mechanical throttle body here, and then I'm sure Locar makes one, and if not, I can make a little bracket to hold the throttle cable right there or something. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. So that's I don't know if you guys can see, but the other thing is too is I need to shorten the steering column up. I was playing with the length of it a whole bunch before, but I really wanted to kind of get some other things done, so I'm going to go back on that. So I actually have to cut the steering column down, so I'll show you that and how I did that. I've noticed the 2 other T-buckets kind of did the exact same thing, so I don't think I'm out of line with that. The other thing, obviously, I need to finish up the transmission up. That's something I just really haven't wanted to do, but I'm going to do that. Lastly, you know, finish kind of I want to get the gas pedal, brake pedal, steering column, shifter, all that done. Then I'm going to do the door panel like that, what would be the door panel on that side, then the door panel on this side. And then once that's done, then I can do this back panel, and then I can get the actual seat part done. And then I can upholster the thing. So, you know, once I kind of get these couple things done, then I can kind of knock out a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously, I still need to paint the body, but I want to get all this other stuff done first. So, well, I don't know if I'm going to work on this stuff too much tonight, but yeah, I guess I'm going to start digging into this shifter first and kind of I've actually installed this exact same shifter before, so I know it's pretty darn simple, but I'm gonna kind of dive into it a little bit and get it set up. And you mount this big bracket to this guy, and then there's these little tabs in here that mount from here, this big bracket down to the transmission hump. I've got all the bolts and hind joints and everything, shift lever. So it comes with everything. So it's like I said, these are really nice shifters. Lokar does a really good job with their shifters. So I'm gonna start looking into it a little bit, maybe tinker on it for a little bit tonight. And yeah, so stay tuned. Okay, right now I'm just doing some test fitting, and the brake pedal's there, and it kind of is what it is. There's no real moving it. I thought I might be able to, I could probably bend the arm and get it over to the left a little bit more, or to the right a little bit more, if that might make it a little more comfortable. There is an arm on the bottom of that where a rod goes backwards to push on the master cylinder, and so I think I'll have some adjustment there where I can get this pedal to go down just a little bit. I mean, even if it was an inch or so, it'd be a lot more comfortable. Then I started messing with this gas pedal and how to mount that and where to mount that. And I want it, you know, off to the right as much as possible, because my foot's pretty much going to have to ride right here. There's not really any room for my feet anywhere. I mean, my knees are already bent up as is. But I think just this big nice bracket that the steering column mounts to, I'm just going to mount it right to the bottom of that, and then that'll get my throttle cable up high enough from behind the heads to where I can go right on out with the throttle cable. And you can see there's a lot of room back there at the moment. There's no wiring back there, but these gauges are only 1.5 inches or so thick. Maybe let's say 2 inches, so tons of room there. So I can be able to push this down all the way to get full throttle there, and that'll be probably the most comfortable spot for me. Now, the next thing I was looking at is the oh yeah, and I got to shorten up the steering column so that the steering wheel is going to be down here. You know, well, I mean, I can adjust it up, but it'll be over here instead of like behind here. So the other thing I was looking at was the shifter, and originally, you know, thought it'd be something like this, but I think up here actually works a lot better. So this is in the park position, go down to drive, and it works good up there. It's out of the way, so getting in and out, you know, legs and stuff going back and forth are fine. And you could probably even put like a cup holder here or something, so it'd be just a lot more room there. The other thing that I was looking at last night was it's going to be a little difficult. So this transmission hump is a pre-made one that I got from Chris Dawson Chassis Works, and so I just kind of bought it and slapped it in there. But now what I'm going to have to do is, I think right here in this area I can push it in about 1 inch. So I'm going to cut it and push it in and re-weld it, so that'll help me a bunch. But the other kicker is that black line right there. I don't know if you can see that. That's where the arm comes out from the transmission that the shifter has to hook up to, and that arm is actually under that piece of wood right now. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to bring that out. So I'm going to bring that out and then push it in up there. So that's one thing I got to look at, is how this shifter arm, because it's right up against the bottom of the floorboard there. So that one's going to be interesting. So that's kind of one of my next things to tackle, since I think the brake is going to work, the gas is going to work there, but I want to get this shifter installed today. So that's going to be the next thing. Oh, the other thing, let me stand up here. So going with this pre-made tunnel, so it's a really nice piece, saved me a ton of time, but you can see how long it is. So really that leaves only like that little area for my butt to sit in. But I was thinking about it laying in bed last night. I could probably, I'm gonna cut this little piece off and bring this, I can bring it all the way forward to almost here, because the end of the transmission's about here, but it's so narrow there that I don't need it to be that big up here. So that'll give a lot more room for legs and your butt to sit on. And and everything else. And so I still obviously got to make the tunnel, but I'm going to do that too. I'm going to move it up here somewhat when I'm cutting and welding and all that stuff too. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I know, like I said, big kind of a long update video, but I was trying to just chip away at this. So I think what I'm going to do is end this video here, and we'll pick it up on another video, because I know this one's already pretty long, but that's kind of where I'm at with the project right now. The only other thing I did, I don't think I even did a video of it, maybe I did, I can't even remember now, is I got this fuel tank all plumbed up. So got the nice Holley or Earl's AN hose, and there's a filter regulator combo on the frame down there, and you can see the line down there. So originally on the other intake it was going to feed into this fuel rail, but since I'm going to use this intake now, I got to go over here. So I'm going to extend it over, and then they make those little adapters that'll go right on this, and I'll just cap off the return here, so I don't need that. So yeah, so overall we're getting there, but we'll worry about that later. Right now I'm gonna mess with this. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. Check out the next video where I start chipping away at all that shifter and all that good stuff, and that's kind of the plan for today, which is it's actually New Year's Day 2023. See ya.